Hey, welcome back, boys and girls, fans of the Miami Dolphiones, perhaps fans of the Cincy Scizors, or just in general the NGDL. Welcome to the league championship, and I am super psyched to be here, man. But super nervous right now, as you might expect. This is a matchup between pretty much the titans of the league the entire season. With my Miami Dolphiones completely dominating, for the most part, our conference of the Kanto Conference, going 10-2 in the process and winning both of our playoff games, while the Cincy Scizors have done the exact same thing in his Sevi Conference, finishing 10-2, and, of course, making it to the final game, and Vizually is obviously a fantastic battler. You guys probably know him already, and we've looked into his conference championship game, which he completely dominated the Tampa Bay Thunderbolts with his Licky Licky of all things, a Pokemon that has actually been problematic for teams the whole season long. So yeah, this is going to be hopefully a really good one. I'm hoping. I really want to win, but even more than that, I really hope that this is going to be a great match. Yeah, so without further ado, let's see what I did. I did go ahead and make a swap, taking a Pokemon from the Quilava Blue Grenets, after defeating them last week. There was a few Pokemon I was considering to take from the Blue Grenets, but I eventually decided to swap out Decidueye for what I feel to be an upgrade at the Grass-type position, and that is Shaman. Shaman is a very versatile Pokemon, with obviously great stats, as 100 all around, as one of the, I guess, Gen 5 and earlier Mythics. I think they stopped doing that after Gen 5. The Mythics now have different stats, but yeah, but it's incredibly bulky, and it's also incredibly powerful, especially with Seed Flare. I don't know if I'm really going to use it. Actually, well, I mean, I already know now. I am going to actually try to fit Shaman into this squad. But at the time, I was thinking, let's see what he does. And but Vizually kind of made an interesting transaction of his own, or a swap. This is actually his first swap of the entire season. He did not use a single transaction. He didn't swap in the first game of the playoffs. But he ended up taking Tampa Bay's Ditto. And I believe he got rid of his, what is that Pokemon's name? It's the grass, Sword of Justice. It's, Virizion, that's the thing. So, Ditto is actually $10 in this tournament, and it's actually, it provides a lot for him. It stops me from being able to really set up while he's free to, set up with some of his Pokemon at will, and, yeah, so it's a Pokemon that you're always going to have to play around. It was a good idea to swap for it, even if he doesn't bring Ditto. Obviously, my team building is going to have to account for Ditto, because I don't want to get in a situation where he can potentially steal a sweep of mine. And I do have some pretty fast, potent Pokemon, that, especially ones that I could potentially set up with, like a Dragon Dance kommo-o set, and that's going to limit my ability to do that. So it was a pretty excellent, swap. It was one that I kind of thought he would make, but eventually, it's nothing you can really do. I feel like I can play around Ditto. My Pokemon, while I do have Pokemon that I would like to set up, I feel like this is going to be a really, really, really close defensive match. He has been favoring bulky offense all year, or all season long, really, with that Licky Licky being the prime example of just bulk, incredible special bulk with curse sets. He tends to run HP and defenses on a lot of his Pokemon. He was actually, favoring the trapping set for that Azumarill, which I have to keep in mind, because I don't want to get one of my Pokemon trapped with Whirlpool and then Perish-Sogged. Even though his draft looks like it can be kind of fast, obviously Thundurus is. Yeah, so he's been favoring bulk, and he has that Steelix, obviously. He can really run a lot of bulky sets. So this battle is going to probably turn into a battle of attrition. And I feel like I can limit Ditto. In fact, there's one Pokemon that's kind of like the wild card here in this match. It's going to be Mega Latios and Mimikyu, because they're both pretty fast, and they both have setup potential, as well as that Licky Licky. And I have to be sure not to let either of those Pokemon set up against me and obviously completely, dominate my team. But I feel like I have a pretty good defensive core myself, and if I play my cards right, I feel like I match up okay. Now, we're not going to obviously bring Sticky Webs this week, because his fastest Pokemon are the Latios, the Thundurus, and the Aerodactyl, aside from a Selgor. And those Pokemon are all immune to Sticky Webs, so there's no real reason to bring Sticky Webs. It's actually a really annoying team to prep against, as you can imagine. I mean, obviously it's a great team. It's been dominant in that conference. But ultimately, I feel like I can do some damage. I can do some damage to his bulkier Pokemon that would like to set up, and I feel like I can play around Ditto a little bit. I'm going to be bringing, you know what, I might as well just say the team I'm bringing right now. Heatran, Lele, kommo-o, Shaman, Greninja, and Mega B are going to be coming for the, Miami Dolphiones. And we have some outs. We're going to bring, the Haze on the Greninja. Don't know if that's going to matter, but it can potentially save us against a sweep. We have Roar on Heatran with the Shuka Berry, so he's not going to be able to one-hit KO Heatran. If worst case scenario, I can Roar that away. Plus, bringing quite a bit of special bulk on that Heatran, because I feel like a lot of his main threats are going to be on the special side of the spectrum. Although he has a lot of physical threats too. I shouldn't say that. But he does have a lot of special threats, and Heatran is specifically going to be my special tank, hopefully. I'm actually going to bring a Specs Lele this week because I want to break through some of his bulkier Pokemon, and I know that he doesn't like to run a whole lot of speed, favoring bulk, so I want to break through that with a Specs Lele. I'm actually going to bring a Scarf kommo-o, because Scarf kommo-o actually outspeeds quite a bit of his, and can hit him really hard, pretty much all of his Pokemon pretty hard. Mega B, everyone knows what Mega B does, but I'm actually going to bring Substitute on Mega B this week, specifically to, if I can predict a Ditto switch in, or, God forbid, or amazing for me, I end up getting a sub up and then killing something, he's not going to be able to go into that Ditto and take B, because sub's going to block it. If I sub on the Ditto switch, that's okay too, because I have a sub and he doesn't, so that's advantage me. And of course, Shaman, I really do like Shaman to break some of his stall Pokemon, like the Licky Licky, due to Seed Flare's ability to lower special defense. It has Leech Seed and has Synthesis, so and I have a max HP on it, so it's going to be incredibly bulky, and I'm hoping that it can help stall out some of his Pokemon. I can set up Leech Seeds and then switch out, and that's going to be the game plan going in. I think I went over all 6 of my Pokemon. We're going to see how it goes. Go Dolphiones! I haven't played the match yet. And, we're going to go ahead and do that, and, I'm really nervous, but I feel like we have a decent game plan. Hopefully it's a fantastic game. Let's do it! So, there's the squads. Right off the bat, you see some interesting stuff on Visually's end. So he doesn't have the Licky Licky, he doesn't have the Ditto, so that's pretty interesting, to me. And, he's bringing the Acelgor, which is something I didn't really, I didn't prep for it too hard. Because I have most of my Pokemon can take a hit from it. So it's going to be really interesting. He doesn't have quite that bulk. He doesn't have the Steelix either. I don't know if I mentioned that. So that's pretty interesting to me. So we're going to go ahead and see how it goes. So he's going to go ahead and lead with Aerodactyl, which is what I thought he would lead with given the teams. I decided to end up leading with my Beedrill. And right off the bat, I actually realized I made a mistake in one of my movesets. Thankfully, it doesn't actually matter. I was supposed to actually EV this Mega B to outspeed an Aerodactyl. But I think I was a couple points off, because I actually, I think it's because the Showdown Calc actually doesn't have max speed on it, so I miscalculated that. Thankfully, he just goes to the Stealth Rock, so it's not a huge deal. I'm just going to get the U-turn damage anyway. He doesn't just kill my Mega B, which would have been awful. So, crisis averted, guys. Crisis averted. Alright, so, in comes my Shaman. And, I go into this because he can take a hit, even if it's like an air release or wing attack, so I know I can take at least one hit. He did set up the Stealth Rock, which is bad. I'm just going to go for the Seed Flare to kill this guy. I wanted to go into my Scarf kommo-o, but I decide not to. Instead, I decided to go into Shaman, let this thing take the hit. I was going to go into Scarf kommo-o, but I didn't want to reveal it too early, so anyway, in comes the Acelgor. And, so this thing is going to outspeed everything. I don't have anything that can outspeed this. Not even my Scarf kommo-o is EV to outspeed this. But I do have Heatran, which I know can take a Focus Blast. And he's going to go ahead and go for the Spikes. So that's interesting to me already. So he's going to go now for the Phytium Z. And at first I was thinking, okay, I can live this. Because I do have max HP. And I do have Spadef Investment. But he ends up being Modest. And this is bad. This thing actually takes out my Heatran in one blow. And calcing it, this is like a pretty close to max roll, so that's kind of annoying, because it would have been really nice to attack down this Acelgor before it's able to get off additional hazards on me, because I didn't actually bring Defog on Beedrill this week. I decided to bring Sub. So now this thing is going to be problematic because I'm going to go into my kommo-o. I decide not to log myself into Dragon Claw because he does have that Mimikyu. And yeah, he's going to be able to set up these hazards on me, and this is going to be a problem because looking at his team, this guy pulled a 180 and is bringing hyper offense, and that Mimikyu was a huge, huge problem. But anyway, I'm going to be able to actually take out the Selgor with 2 Iron Heads, so that's not bad. I'm still up now. Okay, so I took care of 2 of his Pokemon, but in comes his Latios, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to lose my kommo-o at this point. He has 3 layers of spikes and stealth rocks, so Shaman's probably not going to get a good opportunity to set back in. So I'm just gonna, go into it. He's just gonna go for a Psychic to kill me. Interesting though, I don't see the Mega Evolution, so I'm like, okay, is this thing like Scarf maybe? Scarf Latios? Because he can use the non-Mega. And I'm like, okay, let's just go into my Greninja. And I'm just gonna go for the Ice Beam, which is the move I brought for this thing. It's might not KO, but I figure that if he is Scarfed, he's gonna outspeed me. But as you can see, it is not Scarfed. In fact, he has actually Focus Sash Latios. And that's what he said anyway. And he's going to be able to get off the Draco Meteor now on my Greninja, so that is KO'd. So this is not looking too good right now. I have to go to Mega B. I'm down to 3 Pokemon, and he is down to, I believe, 4. So I need to get the KO here. He has nothing really to take a Poison Jab. I mean, he does have the Drapion, which has the resistance, but nothing takes a Poison Jab well. So I'm just going to go for that. I get hit down to 50% HP, although I do have that odd HP, so I have 1 HP more than that. I could switch back in again if I wanted to. But he's going to go into Drapion, and I'm like, okay, I really can't afford to switch because everything is going to take damage. I'm just going to go for a Drill Run. I know I can't KO, and Drapion's going to be hit down to half, but he goes for a Pursuit, which is interesting because that's going to hit my Beedrill down to 29 HP. And I actually live, so I can go for that second Drill Run to take down the Drapion. But in comes the Mimikyu, and this guy obviously has the Disguise ability. He does have that Shadow Sneak, so unfortunately I can't switch. I could go out to the Lele and cancel out the Shadow Sneak, but it's kind of futile because Beat can't come back in anyway. So I'm gonna go into Tapu Lele now. I'm gonna actually bluff the Scarf. And I know this thing, if it's max speed, is going to outspeed me. Because I brought the specs because I was afraid of his bulkier, his bulkier team potential. And there's the Shadow Claw. It's going to go ahead, outspeed, kill Lele. Would have lived one if it wasn't for all those hazards, but Lele is going to go down, and that sucks. And my only Pokemon left is kommo-o, who is Scarf, so I'm going to be able to outspeed this thing. I had to lock myself in Iron Head. His Pokemon is Thundurus left. I need to flinch the way. So can I flinch out a championship here? That's the real question. I go for the Iron Head, break the decoy. I can still get the flinch this turn. But no, there's the player off. That will end our championship run. The Miami Dolphiones unfortunately dropped to the Vizually Cincy Scizors, and what a hell of a game plan on his end, running bulky offense the entire season. I expected this game to be a battle of attrition, but it was a bam, 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 bam match. Still an entertaining match. And that's what I really wanted. This is my first championship. We'll get the chip next year, guys. It's not like the worst way I could have lost. Yeah, so I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for next year. It still sucks to lose, get this far. I mean, this is still by far the best season I've ever had in a draft league. And obviously, Vizually is, he's like a draft king. He has all the experience in the world. He's done dozens of draft leagues. So he got me, and he got me just by going against the grain, my expectations. So I mean, the battle was not exactly how I was expecting it to go. I kind of wish I brought Scarf Lele now. It would have given me maybe a chance to win at the end. I don't know. Looking back on it, and yeah, it was an interesting match. It was an interesting experience, and the NGDL3 will, I'll look back on it and have fond memories. But maybe I'm just Ash Ketchum. Maybe I'm just destined to never actually win. All right, well, that is that. All right, and I know Dolphiones fans are gonna. It's gonna be a rough one for Dolphiones fans, but don't worry, guys. I'll be back. There'll be an NGDL4, probably coming in a month or two. Potentially. I want the NGDL4 to be Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I said that pretty much from the get-go. before Pokemon 2019 comes out later this year. At least that's what we're expecting it to come out. So we'll have another run at it in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. We'll learn. We're gonna learn from this one, and hopefully we'll come back even stronger. But I can't say the season wasn't a success. We obviously had the best record. We won the division for the first time. We got to the big game, and we lost to a terrific battler and only 2-0. So it's ultimately a successful season, even if we weren't able to bring home the cup. And congratulations to Vizually. If you guys don't know who he is, check out his channel, video in the description. He's an awesome guy, awesome narrations. I'm sure you guys probably all know about him and are subbed to him already if you're subbing my channel. But yeah, that's all I have to say, except for today's question of the day, which is going to be... Vizually came out with this one, my opponent in this game. Would you rather have a Gen 4 remake or Gen 8 as the next Pokemon games? Obviously, the Gen 4 remakes has been rumored forever. Personally, I think Pokemon 2019 is pretty much already confirmed to be Gen 8, I think. But then again, it could be a Gen 4 remake. Or, with Gen 8. Maybe Gen 8 is a Gen 4 remake. As for me, I'd also prefer Gen 8. I want something a little new. I'm not a huge fan of the single player in the Gen 4 games. Obviously, I love the meta in Gen 4. I mean, I still like my favorite. Looking back on it, maybe it's just nostalgia talking, but there. So yeah, leave a comment about that, and see you guys again next time. Laters, bye.